And the police state ends with me. We made it one more day. I previously did a video on how the Bartlesville Police and Bartlesville City Council called for a special election to vote on increasing sales taxes in Bartlesville to fund a 10% increase in the size of the Bartlesville Police Department's officers. Please go back and watch that video if you haven't seen it. It's called Bartlesville Police Are Raising Your Taxes, as this video will be about that information, and please focus on how these special elections are done so that few people will know about them and few people will show up to vote, increasing the likelihood of tax increases passing. This is done by making sure people that want the tax increase know about the date to vote, but keeping the special election as quiet as possible in the media so the rest of us don't show up and vote it down. Indeed, special elections are called for on off-election dates so low voter turnout is ensured. This is something a fascist government would do, like the city of Bartlesville, Bartlesville Police, and Bartlesville City Council that don't believe in democracy. What they want is the fewest voters to vote as possible and have all their friends turn out and vote yes for something most would vote no for on a regular election day when more people show up to vote. So what happened in the special election held on October 13th, 2015? Where the only items to vote on in this special election on an off-election day, the only items to vote on were 2 tax increases to the citizens of Bartlesville, Oklahoma. And who was aggressively involved in this campaign to increase the taxes? Well, the leadership of James Phillips Medical Center was aggressively involved in the tax increase campaign for the city. Did you expect any less? And from a nonprofit government, a nonprofit organization, James Phillips Medical Center, that pays no income taxes and is not supposed to be materially involved in politics. And what happened? Of course, the tax increases passed. Of course they did. And let me tell you why. See the article down in the description below. Notice the name of a leader of James Phillips Medical Center in this article, and also notice this statement. Bartlesville voters on Tuesday overwhelmingly said yes to 2 sales tax increases. This kind of misleading and dishonest government statement is what you get from the city of Bartlesville and Bartlesville City Council. If you read this, you would think the so-called overwhelmingly support and overwhelming agreement on people to increase their own taxes showed great support of the citizens. I'll say that again. If you would read what the government wrote, what the city of Bartlesville has written on their Facebook page and their own website, if you read this, you would think the so-called overwhelmingly agreement on people to increase their own taxes showed great support by the citizens for this. Well, I'm here to tell you that is total BS. What the Bartlesville City Council doesn't want to tell you is the facts. Their deceptive and off-normal date special election got them what they wanted. Now here's the facts. Only 10% of registered voters in the city of Bartlesville showed up to vote on this off-date special election date. 60% of those people that did show up voted for the tax increase. So 90% of the voters didn't even make it to vote. Why? Because special elections on off-election dates cause this. People are busy and it is kept as quiet as possible, and people just don't come out to vote on off-date election days. 90% didn't. And that is normal for a special election. And the fascist Bartlesville City Council and Bartlesville Police and the city of Bartlesville, they know that. So what's the real fake overwhelming support? for these tax increases on the citizens of Bartlesville to increase the police state of the Bartlesville Police Department by 10%, a size increase in the Bartlesville Police of 10%. Well, 1,780 people out of the 36,000 total citizens voted yes for the tax increase in this city of Bartlesville. That's right, only 4.9% of the people in the town voted for the tax increases, but they happened anyway. And the city of Bartlesville and the city council have the gall to say in writing they were overwhelmingly supported in their desire to raise our taxes, that the citizens overwhelmingly support them. Well, they got what they wanted, a 10% increase in the police state to steal more from innocent citizens, tear their houses apart, and breach their civil and human rights. They got that. These are some salty dogs from y'all. They sneak the money from your pocket, then tell you that is what you wanted. 90% of registered voters didn't come out for the special election. Now, and you can say to yourself, well, that means they were disinterested and they should have come out. How about they didn't know? How about people don't come out on off-date election days? How about the city of Bartlesville knows that? That's why they called a special election in October of 2015, and it was very quiet in the media. It was up a couple of times, but shortly in small little things. But how about the fact that they know they put two things. The election was about two questions, and both were tax increases, and that was it. How about they know that? They knew they weren't going to get good turnout. They absolutely knew that. This is common propaganda, a common propaganda tactic used by dictators to tell large groups of people that what a small group thinks or wants is really what the majority want. 4.9% of the people in this town wanted that tax increases, and it happened. That is not democracy. These are the kinds of tactics we are dealing with in the fascist Bartlesville of Oklahoma government and Bartlesville Police and the City Council of Bartlesville. These are some corrupt people that are fascist and do not believe in democracy, your civil rights, the Constitution, and what this country is built on, free and fair elections. The Bartlesville City Council and Bartlesville Police will scam you to take your money and then make you suffer under their police state. Do you think their friends and family are suffering? No. In fact, their friends and family are so bold they go out and harass me, come to my house and harass me, threaten me physically, post these smart-aleck comments to me. These are people that are being sent by the Bartlesville Police. These are salty dogs. These people have no morals or ethics and will lie while smiling. Shame on them. Also, think about this. Realistically, do you even think if the voters voted the tax increases down that the count would have shown that? We see what, if you watch my videos, we see what the powers that be in the Bartlesville City, County, Bartlesville Police and City Council and large corporations will do to someone just running for City Council. Can you imagine if the final counter of votes at the election board here in Bartlesville came up with a count that the powers that be didn't want? They were so corrupt they would destroy that person. That person had no choice but to say that tax increase was voted in. Whether it was or not, they wouldn't have had a choice under the threat of this fascist government. Don't think for a second the city of Bartlesville, Washington County, Oklahoma, Bartlesville Police, and local large fascist corporations wouldn't stoop to such corruption. We already know they will. Now they have it, a 10% increase in the size of the Bartlesville police force, so more crimes can be committed by this roaming gang of armed robbers. God help us all as the police state motors on right over us citizens. The police state ends with me. And with that said, I'll see you tomorrow.